will not be spoken to that way by the Leader of the Opposition.
The Ontario government's Minister of Long-Term Care, Marlee Fullerton, lied her way through an outlandish rant in an attempt to defend herself. Now, this follows a scathing report from an independent commission criticizing both Liberal and Conservative governments for keeping long-term care homes in such horrible conditions. So first, before I get to the clip, a little bit more on this from the report. Quote, the province's lack of pandemic preparedness and the poor state of the long-term care sector were apparent for many years to policymakers, advocates, and anyone else who wished to see. Ontario's policymakers and leaders failed during those years to take sufficient action despite repeated calls for reform, the report stated. Rather, the commitment and resources needed to prepare for a pandemic and address long-neglected problems with long-term care were shunted in favor of more pressing policies and fiscal priorities. So this report goes deep. It's, I think, 300 plus pages, goes deep into just the complete disaster that is long-term care and the lack of preparedness reaction from both Liberal and Conservative governments. Now, as I mentioned, Marlee Fullerton, the Minister of Long-Term Care, defended herself over this report and the attacks against her, and just went on this insane rant with a bunch of lies that I will showcase in just a second. Check this out.
Thank you, Speaker. If the Leader of the Opposition had done her job during the time that the previous government neglected long-term care, if you had been a voice, if you had taken the opportunity that you had, years and years of runway that you wasted, that the Leader of the Opposition closed her eyes to. Go back to the Hansard. Look how many times she even bothered to mention the long-term care word. Look at your failure. I was left to pick up the pieces from a devastating 15 years of neglect. I will not be spoken to that way by the Leader of the Opposition that neglected this sector, and the Opposition at the time neglected this sector.
Order.
All right. That was completely insane. You have there Fullerton attacking the Leader of the Opposition, being the NDP here, Andrea Horwath, the Leader of the NDP, attacking Andrea Horwath for never discussing long-term care, for somehow leading to the problems here when she wasn't in power, when the NDP weren't in power. So the replies to this video, of course, completely annihilated any point that Fullerton was trying to make here. So this account here says, I took Marlee Fullerton's advice. I searched the Hansards, which is the transcripts of these debates. Andrea Horwath was produced 155 search results from 2009 to 2018 for long-term care. So Andrea Horwath mentioned long-term care 155 times between 2009 and 2018. Now compare that to the Conservatives. Hudak, Brown, Wilson, Ford, zero times, and Fideli, 0 times as well. Never mentioned long-term care. Yet here the Conservatives attempting to attack Andrea Horwath for not bringing up long-term care. Going on here, another account, Matt here posts, Fullerton is just straight up lying here. Horwath was a vocal critic of the Ontario Liberals since becoming an NDP MPP in 2004. As leader of the Ontario NDP, she consistently criticized Liberal failures and has campaigned on improving long-term care in every election. So some examples here that he shares. This is an article saying that's what Hamilton NDP MPP Andrea Horwath wants to know. She's demanding the government establish minimum cooling requirements for nursing homes across the province. Here's another one. Ontario NDP leader slams McGuinty over needing more hospital beds. So again, discussing long-term care. And last one here. Less than 1 in 5 long-term care homes received annual inspection in the last 3 years. This is an article from 2013. NDP leader Andrea Horwath says Ontario Health Minister Deb Matthews has broken her promise. So over and over again, NDP leader Andrea Horwath warned both Liberal and Conservative governments about this. We have an election coming up next year, to hopefully replace Doug Ford. When you're looking at who to support, maybe it's a good idea to try something different. Maybe move away from the conservatives and the liberals. Maybe, just maybe, look at a party and a leader that has called out these issues again and again and again, long before they blew up into be the major issues that they have now become, like long-term care. This is an actual leader, somebody that sees the problems before they develop, somebody that tries to fix things, someone that actually stands up for the working class. This is what the NDP have tried to do, at least in Ontario. And here, once again, we've been dealing with this horrible government and Ford's conservative government, and you have the opportunity, maybe, to educate yourself and vote differently next time.